This is the first of 2 videos when I'm on vacation to California and Arizona. I'll be taking a lot of photos there and doing some video and everything. Excuse me. But until then, I wanted to share these next 2 videos with you over the next 2 weeks because it'll be a little too old when I come back and I'm going to have a ton of stuff to share. Let's check it out. This video is about doing a set of spooky photos with a vintage Halloween mask, a roll of TMAX 400 black and white film 120, and a Hasselblad 500 cm film camera, shot all handheld and slightly too late light. So we shot a little bit on digital, and I mostly did that to get some safeties and just to get a few things that look nice and also my soft focus. But my real goal for this shoot was to basically emulate or not emulate, but to call back to Ralph Eugene Meatyard, who was known for using masks in his photographs. Yeah. There were these masks from the 1970s, and some of you might remember these, or you remember the type of mask with a rubber band on back and plastic costume that you put over your clothes. Anyway, this is a cool vintage Halloween mask that Dani had gotten off of eBay, I believe, or maybe Etsy. It was called a she-ghoul, which is pretty great. What's cool about this mask is it has excellent eye holes. So in black and white also, the hair on the mask kind of blends in with Dani's hair, and I had her wearing this kind of, I guess, 50s-ish dress. It's kind of like suburban spooky, which I think I've mentioned I really liked before. So I feel pretty good about this. Like I said, we were a little bit too late, and what I really should have done is I should have gotten a tripod out so I could shoot slower exposures without camera shake. But I also thought maybe camera shake works pretty well with these, so I let it go in there. I still use the mirror lockup on the Hasselblad so that it would reduce the camera shake, and it really did an excellent job. I could handhold this a little bit slower than I really should have, and the only one that has visible terrible blur, other than maybe the very last shot when it was getting really dark and it started raining, was the one where it jammed just randomly. You can see right there, I slapped the dark slide back in having given up on the camera, and then it unjammed. So photo shoots are interesting like that. But that camera doesn't jam on me often at all. I can't remember more than once, maybe ever, that it's jammed on me in a shoot in about 8 or 9 years of using Hasselblads, maybe longer than that. I highly suggest checking out his work. Here are a few of his pictures. He had this series called The Family Album of Lucybell Crater, using these Halloween masks and various people. And he did it to, in part, he said, because it kind of erases your personality, or it can erase the personality of the wearer. But then he also realized that you can still tell who it is by body language and stuff. So I developed this film in the last of my FF number 1 monobath, and it's pretty much past prime, but I got just enough out of it for this. I drained it through a coffee filter even. But I think it turned out pretty well, and I also am testing my new scan techniques. I didn't like using the anti-Newton glass on top of the picture or in any way between the camera and the film because it did not go well. But when I used it to tape or otherwise mask and hold down the film onto it, it made a pretty decent substrate, I guess. So promising first results, as you could see some great detail in those, but not necessarily, the final word on this. Sure, you could probably get a more even exposure on a drum scan, but dramatically cheaper and still way better than flatbed scans and stuff like that, in my opinion, and I think possibly in fact.
It's raining. Let me just...
You can just drag it over here.
Okay. Oh.
Also, I guess it's time. I don't have any cool app that'll tell you who won, but my Diana clone has been won by a viewer, and you're going to find out right here, and you usually comment, so I'm pretty sure you're watching. But that old camera guy you got yourself an old camera to play with. So that's fun. I think it's going to the perfect person. I'm really excited that this has happened. And like you saw in the video, if you don't, it's going to be in a card up there, that this camera was very charming. It's very fragile, and I taped up a lot of the holes in it, which is good. But thankfully, my winner, no, if you haven't checked out his channel, you absolutely should. I will link it at the end of this video on one of those little, little subscribe things. He's got a great channel about old cameras. And so he will understand how to handle something that's a little fragile, but very worthwhile, if you ask me. And that's not something I expected to say about this camera. I thought it was going to be pretty, trashy, to be honest. I was expecting nothing out of it, but there's some little magic in that lens, and it appears to be basically a Diana with fewer aperture options and fewer shutter options, which is fine because sometimes limitations really do add up and help you in the end. So yeah, I will let me know if you want me to include some gaffer's tape with this, or if you're happy with whatever you might have. I'll leave the stuff that's sealing up the various holes already in place, because I don't see any reason to take that out, and it'll last a long time, I'm sure. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you do with it, and I'm already making pretty good progress. And I'm already making pretty good progress on the 700 subscribers milestone, but I think I'll probably do an 800 giveaway and then a big 1,000 giveaway, because that's the goal for now. My first major goal, 1,000 followers. Let's get this thing monetized, and let's see what we can really do with this. And we're building a bigger following. I'm getting more consistent comments, which I really appreciate. It's really awesome. Don't forget my Patreon. They're the people who really make this thing like a little more viable, I think. And it helps. It just helps. Like, it buys me film, or it buys me envelopes, or it buys me some coffee to keep me going. And your contribution could help make that even better. So I appreciate no matter what. I'm not doing this for money. This is, as I've mentioned, a nights and weekends passion project. And I should be packing right now, so I better get to that. These two videos are going to be kind of short, or these videos have been kind of short, and I appreciate you sticking with it, but you're going to get a whole lot of California and Arizona content coming right up. If you like to keep up with what I'm doing on my trips, you can follow me on my Facebook group, which is linked below, or at Jamie M Photo, as spelled on screen, on Instagram, and on Dayflash if you want to cut yourself loose from the Facebook behemoth, which is not the worst thing in the world to do. But, I might also tweet a little bit about this, but my Twitter is kind of more... I try to involve in this, but it's also a little more political. So if you don't want to get into politics, do not go to Twitter for me. But Facebook is a little better. My Facebook business page is completely free of that. My Instagram is generally completely free of that, except for maybe on an election day or something like that. So, yeah, keep in touch. If you have any requests or any suggestions for what I could do in the Los Angeles area or the Phoenix area of Arizona, of course, I am all ears. I have gotten some really great suggestions for both, and I'm going to be doing shoots in both. So I appreciate it. If you want to say hi in one of those places, let me know too. Anyway, I will see you soon, and thanks. Bye.
Spooky Gary skeletons, spooky Gary skeletons, spooky Gary skeletons.